Everyone, and welcome to our third virtual showcase from Leading Venues of London and the PA Club. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's well, enjoying the sunshine. I'm sorry to drag you indoors for this, but thank you very much for joining us. We've got three fantastic presentations this morning. I think sort of very different, but I think will be very interesting. We've got Trinity House, then we've got Rory from Megahertz telling us about decontamination fogging, and then Harry from the Gallivant Hotel down at Cambersand. So I think it would be really interesting. So with, we won't wait any longer. Sorry to cause this to start late, but I'll hand over to you now, Zoe from Trinity House. Thank you.
Everyone, I'm just trying to share my screen properly for you. How's that? Oh, bear with me. Hang on, sorry. 1 sec. There we go. How's that? Can you see properly? Yep. Okay, so hi everybody, welcome. My name's Zoe Turner and I work at Trinity House. I'm the head of events and I've worked there for 14 years now. A tour, if you were to come for a site visit, would usually take at least half an hour to an hour, but I'm going to do this as much of a whistle-stop tour as physically possible. This is the front of the house, and our day job is actually we look after the lighthouses in England and Wales, so we're still very much a working building, but we can still do daytime events as well as evening and weekend events. It's a really stunning building built in 1794, and we've got views that overlook the Tower of London. We've got great transport links. We're just a few seconds away from Tower Hill Tube Station, Fenchurch Street, and we're a 10 to 15 minute walk from London Bridge. We are still just within the square mile. We've got 5 rooms which we rent out, always exclusive hire. And when you arrive at the house, this is the first room that you'll see. So this is, we just call it the entrance hall, and where event organisers, you can do your badging, registration, etc. And you're also welcome to put up pop-ups and branding if you like. But once you go through the entrance hall here and you've got your badge and everything, there is a cloakroom, but then you'd look to go up the stairs. Put a nice little Christmas picture here because I think we all need a bit of sparkle today and in this circumstances. Once you go up the stairs, the first room you get to is the courtroom. All of the rooms are really beautiful. All of them overlook the Tower of London. This room has got lots of beautiful things in there. One of the main things is this carpet. It's a handmade carpet, second largest single loom in the country. And our one rule in the house is we ask for no red wine in here. We've got, to that end, we've got a list of outside caterers who know this rule and are able to look after you very well and to fit all of your different budgets and styles. We do some really, really beautiful events here. Once you leave the courtroom and you go to the room.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you there? Is through the windows, what's your view out of there?
That's the Tower of London from all of the rooms.
Oh, fantastic.
So once you leave the courtroom and you go to the room at the top there, you go into what we call the luncheon room. The luncheon room can be set up as it is in this picture as a boardroom for smaller meetings, or we can move the table under the window out the way and it can be an extension of the courtroom and used as a dispense bar. From the luncheon room, you then go into the picture on the left here, the what we call the quarter deck, down the hall into the picture on the right, which is the reading room. Now that can also be used as a boardroom, but more often than not, it gets used by event organisers just for their preparation area or as a green room for speakers, private phone calls, that sort of thing. And from the reading room, the next room, which is our main room, our biggest room, is the library. Our maximum capacity at the moment is 130 for sitting down or 180 for standing up. We do theatre style like this, or you can do cabaret, style, or we've got lovely long tables that you can use, and you can just about see at the end of that picture that there's the views of the tower there. We do provide all the tables and chairs, so caterers will just need to bring in all the crockery and cutlery to put on top of the tables. And we've also got a list of outside audio-visual and production suppliers for any of those requirements. That's the whistle stop tour. Are there any questions?
Well, I think, I mean, for those of you who haven't been to Trinity House, I think it's one of the most beautiful buildings actually in London, brilliantly located. You know, as Zoe was saying, great views over the Thames. Do you do more? Do you tend to do more conferencing or more sort of dining and drinks receptions?
We do a fairly good mix. I think recently it's tended to be more along conference lines than fancy dinners, but we've also quite a lovely, we do a great wedding. We love weddings. And we're so well located with everything. We've got a couple of churches less than 5 minutes walk from us. So yeah, it's a fairly even mix more recently, I'd say.
Fantastic. Well, anyone who's, and this applies to the rest of these presentations, if you have questions, just type them in and we will get round to sort of answering. And then if anything occurs to you later on, just send us a question and we'll put you directly in touch with the presenter. So, and, you know, because obviously, as we say, we're trying to keep this sort of quite brief. But thank you so much, Zoe. That was really excellent. And as I say, I think Trinity House is a wonderful place.
Zoe, I just had one question. What's the latest an event can go on to there?
Well, midnight, really. I mean, our license currently goes till 11 o'clock because we've got some residential neighbours, but we can stay open until midnight. So as long as guests have departed by midnight, then that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
No, you don't want to keep the beef eaters up too late, do you? So.
No, the ravens.
Exactly. That's good. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Well, now I'm going to hand over to Rory, who's going to tell us about decontamination fogging, which I think all of us, whether you're will find this of interest. So, Rory, if I can pass the baton over to you.
Thank you, Guy. And thanks to all the team at Leading Venues of London. Thanks, Zoe, as well. I kind of wish I wasn't having to chat to all of you about this, because it would hopefully mean that we weren't going through the current moment in time. But as we are, I'm going to have a chat to you about decontamination fogging. I should perhaps give you a bit of background, though, as to how we set this up. 18 months ago, we had, we'd been supporting a lot of the military charities that look after all the veterans who come out of the British Armed Forces, so Walking with the Wounded, Help for Heroes. And we created a manpower business that was aimed at really helping and supporting events and venues, setting up various different occasions. And that was going extremely well. But we kept getting a lot of requests for events that were taking place, I suppose, in greenfield sites, i.e. putting up big marquees, field kitchens. And a lot of these now are suddenly having to adhere to a lot more rules and regulations on health and safety and sanitation. And so we created a cleaning business for these kind of big venues, these big pop-up venues, using a decontamination fogging technique. I have to admit that 18 months ago, I hadn't heard of decontamination fogging. And since then, we've been doing it absolutely non-stop on events, as they have to pass a lot of strict council regulations. And then more unfortunately, perhaps in the last 4 months, it's been completely non-stop. So I suppose I'd love to spend the next 5 minutes just perhaps explaining to you what decontamination fogging is, why are we doing it as well. And I can show you lots of graphics, but I'll probably just actually link you to our website now. so I can chat you through a few things. Hopefully you guys can see our Megahertz website now. All good? Brilliant. So why do we do decontamination fogging? I mean, it's really the best way to deep clean large spaces or venues. As you're all, well, for those of you who own venues are very, very aware, it's an expensive and labor intensive business doing a serious clean of a big venue. And so I suppose perhaps more by, well, it's not really fortune in this current market, but by being positioned where we were for event venues, we're now very much in the right place to be able to help major schools, restaurants, offices, or existing venues to do these deep cleans via decontamination fogging. So what is it and what do we do? Effectively, I suppose, we're part of a big push and a big process right now that allows companies and venues to open their doors again. But put very simply, we have thermal fogging machines. Effectively, for want of a better word, they're like a very large gun. And these distribute clinically tested chemicals into the air. And those chemicals will kill any pathogens in the air, but they'll also cover every surface all over your venue. So if you're fogging a room, and we were doing a big school yesterday, you can put your people into one room, start the fogging process, and every nook and cranny is going to get covered with this very, very light mist. Now, the first question I always get asked, and it's a very important question, perhaps, well, there are two questions really, is it safe? And is it clinically tested? So first of all, on the clinically tested thing, we use a sterilizer that is clinically tested in laboratories that is proven to kill viruses and bacteria. And we give any venue an MSDS sheet, effectively a sheet that talks about all of the chemicals' properties. But the other question that comes very fast on the heels of that first question is, as a chemical, how does it actually work? So it's effectively putting a long-lasting protective shield on every single surface. And then when any bacterial virus lands on that shield, it actively fights and kills those bacteria. And that it will do that for up to 30 days. What it doesn't do is harm human beings, animals, importantly for offices, electrical appliances, and for a lot of the older venues, in particular somewhere like perhaps Trinity House, it doesn't harm paintings and soft furnishings. We're about to do, I have to say I'm a bit worried about this job, we're about to do a silk factory in Suffolk. And we've just been testing our fogging machines on those silks to try and make sure that we don't do any damage. So this is a way to do large scale deep cleaning and decontamination in big venues very quickly and effectively. Our veterans that we use, so we only use these British Armed Forces veterans to apply the chemicals. They'll work through the night. So if you've got an office or a venue that's in operation throughout the day, we can come in the evening, we can set to work, and within an hour of actually us finishing, you can reopen the doors and people can go back in. But we'd work with your facilities managers to try and make sure that we, I suppose, give them peace of mind. And I think that's one of the key phrases really that we're reading now as people are trying to work out how on earth to go back to work. A lot of people not wanting to go back to work, I think, by the looks of it. Or a lot of venues needing to open their doors is, how do we give peace of mind? How do we show best practice for cleaning our venue? We've already got an existing cleaning company. So my company doesn't take over from your existing company. You should still be using your existing company to be doing the day-to-day cleaning. But we come in to try and give an all-over protection for up to 30 days. And what we also do, though, is a number of processes to try and build that peace of mind for your guests or your staff. So we do swab testing before and after to show the efficacy of what we do, but also perhaps just to prove a point that, once you've done this job, the surfaces or the majority of surfaces that we've cleaned are clean enough to, you know, cook food on, or to prepare food on, I should say.
So you could, Rory, you can do kitchens, can you?
Absolutely. So an example would be Gaucho Restaurants, who we're working with. You know, we'll go in with them. Obviously, they're not opening right away, but their kitchens are currently preparing meals for the NHS, and they're starting to do, I think as of next week, delivery and takeaway services from 3 of their restaurants. So we can go in there and we will clean their kitchens as well as the public areas. Because if you think how tricky kitchens are, okay, you've got the main surfaces, which are normally glisteningly clean, but there's a lot of nooks and crannies in kitchens and ceiling areas, and we give that all over shield, if you can imagine, for the whole area. And
what sort of other types of environments have you been going into recently?
Well, I mean, it's a wide range. Very sadly, we've been working with the Royal Hospital Chelsea, you know, which is such an iconic venue for all of us, I think, and in particular because of the pensioners there. And I think going into summer, one of the biggest sort of hits of not having those classic iconic summer events are that we don't see our wonderful Chelsea pensioners strolling around spreading their cheer. But we've been working with Royal Hospital Chelsea. We're going in next week again to help them. They've had, very sadly, 9 deaths in there. You know, it is effectively a care home, and it's not got a lot of privacy in their dormitories. So we're going in, we've just done a big recce with those guys, and we're working with them just to try and support them. It's not something we're asking for money for, I have to say on that one, but it's, you know, our sort of cleaning can really help those kind of tricky venues, high ceilings, and not a modern design. So there's an awful lot of nooks and crannies and pretty statues and things that are quite difficult to clean in a big, stunning venue like that. So yeah, we've been busy there, and we're working with councils quite a lot now. If you can imagine, registry offices and any public service offices that now need to be used and to be opened. I mean, you know, speaking to London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham yesterday, they're still in emergency planning mode. They're just starting to poke their heads up to look at the next stage, which requires more emergency planning because it's all about transportation around the borough. So yeah, we've been extremely busy with offices and slowly with restaurant groups who are sort of tentatively starting to look at deliveries and takeaways, I suppose, before we hopefully get an opening date for all of you guys who are venues.
Rory, sorry to interrupt. What kind of lead time should one have? Because obviously a lot of venues perhaps are not sure when they're going to open. So, you know, working backwards from a notional opening date, when should something like this be activated?
I mean, it's a good question. And the reality is as late as possible, Clifford. You know, we want whatever job we do for you to last as long as possible, because especially for the venues, you know, venues haven't taken any income for an awfully long time now, or a lot of them. So we're trying to help venues, first of all, on price, which we can come on to, but also leaving it as late as we can to do our service. So our chemicals have an efficacy of about up to 30 days. Now, different venues want to do it more regularly, depending how busy they are. You know, the wonderful hedge funds of London want to do it every week because they've got a rather bottomless pit of money to spend even after all of the last 3 months. But we recommend that you do it every 30 days or so, and we can come in the day before you open. So if it's a venue and you've set it all up and it's looking lovely, we could come in that night almost, or 2 nights before, to really give it a big once over. And as I said, we use veteran soldiers. We have an 8-step process to go in with the facilities manager. These veterans, we've got all their service records. They've worked with us all for the last 18 months. We know who they are. They're extremely responsible. They do a job fast and they do it well, which is why we've chosen to use veterans to deliver this rather than perhaps from the usual source for cleaning. So yeah, we would come in as close to your opening date as possible, which I say of hesitancy because we're suddenly seeing large number of venues all lining up for the same sort of date to use us. But we have a big team of veterans, and we have a lot of gear and machinery. So we're ready to go whenever anyone wants us. And we do have one squad which are used for last minute emergency as well.
Rory, that's absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions. And if anyone for your, office, or it might be a school that your children attend, or anything like golf clubs, anything, we would be delighted to put you directly in touch with Rory if this is going to help open up environments in the near future. That's fantastic. And as I say, I think, I think Rory also has the team that one would want delivering this service. I think that's absolutely critical. But that's fascinating. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions, and as I say, we'll put people directly in touch with Rory. So I'm going to move on now to Harry from the lovely Gallivant Hotel, where I'm sure the sun is shining today. Harry, over to you.
Yeah, let me just share my screen. So 1 second here. Can you see that?
If we can, thank you.
Perfect. So thank you very much. The Gallivant, I'm the owner. I don't normally present the Gallivant to so many people. It's normally at dinner parties and friends and stuff. But I just want to give you a very quick background. I started the Gallivant a few years ago as an opportunity to effectively make as many people as happy as possible. We are an incredibly positive, connected, engaged group of people who have a deep-seated cultural desire to make as many of our guests as happy as we can. And actually, I view the current situation as a great opportunity for hospitality to slightly reimagine itself and to reposition what hospitality is all about. And when we reopen, we hope to reopen in July, it's going to be a great opportunity for us as a business to, as well as ensuring that our guests feel safe and that we have a real focus on well-being. We're really genuinely excited that it's going to allow us to do more of what we know our guests want to do when they come and visit us. And it's really all about a very much an experience-rich, inspirational, and truly memorable visit to the Gallivant that we hope will last with our guests for time after they've left us. So I'm actually just going to run through this presentation, which will just give you a very quick overview of the Gallivant. Frankly, I could speak for an hour about it, but this will hopefully, for those of you who haven't heard of the Gallivant or know nothing about us, will give you a flavour of what the Gallivant is all about and what we're trying to do. We genuinely believe we're pioneers in what we phrase holistic hospitality, and we have created a place that we hope people will feel is very much like going to visit your great friend's house by the sea. The spaces are very well considered. Some would say luxurious, I would say bespoke. And we have created, we hope, a very calming and extremely relaxing place for people we hope to become genuinely more mindful and feel more in the moment. And that allows us to offer people on a daily basis things like yoga, meditation, wild swimming, mindful walks on the beach, wine tasting, Pilates, etc. In fact, our list of experiences that we offer for free to all our guests is something that over the next 6 months or so, we're going to be expanding. We sit behind what can only be described as, frankly, an epic beach, 5 miles of uninterrupted sand, which is for the most part deserted. 95% of the year. It gets busy in July and August on weekends, but for the rest of the time, it genuinely is waiting to be discovered. And we connect our guests with the beach as much as we can, and it's something that we're going to be doing even more of as we come out of the current situation. I have a belief that actually when people walk onto the sand in their bare feet, that it really connects people to a happier moment in their life, perhaps when they were a child, when they were uninhibited, and when they could enjoy the naivety of youth and were not burdened by modern day stresses and strains. And we use that, the connection the beach gives people to their happier past, very much in the offer that we present people when they come to the Gallivant. When we reopen, the plan is to provide people with a space that they feel is truly accessible, a space that they believe that is protected, and somewhere that we will really look after them. So we've proved some technology. We're able to provide people the opportunity of arriving and to move from their car to their bedroom completely without touching, touchless access, we call it. We already had incredibly industry-leading staff cleanliness and housekeeping protocols, but we are upping that further with what we've termed as our bedroom sanctuary 5-step program. We're adapting our food and beverage service so that it is more a product that our guests can do and take where they want. And so we are trying to remove the prescription of perhaps going to enjoy food and drink in the dining room. We're allowing people to enjoy it in their bedroom, on their deck. Most of our rooms have private decks on our private coastal garden, or even in the dunes. There are a number of things that we're doing with lunch and dinner service to further afford people feeling of security. And then beside the current situation, the values and of the business are obviously are what they are. We have a incredibly beautiful, highly considered environment, beautiful bedrooms, beautiful bathrooms, genuinely incredible food, a beach hut for massages and pampering. And I guess the last point is probably one of the things that I'm most proud about. We have built a team of leaders at the Gallivant that are literally second to none in the hospitality industry in the UK. People from some of the leading hotels and restaurants in the UK who have moved out of London and who have been attracted to the philosophy that I've created, the Gallivant, which is this very holistic approach to hospitality, focused completely with unerring determination at making our guests happy. We have 3 spaces that work very well for corporates: the cabin room, the summer house, and the dining room. The summer house is the newest addition to the offer. We're really excited about this. It was just finished at the middle of March. It's a really, truly, stunning, almost Scandinavian space, 80 square meters, that for the most part is where we deliver our experiences, but also doubles as a brilliant place for corporates to utilize as a place to dine or to meet or to listen and to gather. The cabin rooms are a far more intimate space, sits 16 very comfortably in in quite a closeted and enveloping, quite luxurious space. And then the dining room is a truly very light and airy, almost like an orangery, with light coming in from above and from the side that opens directly onto our terrace. Our bedrooms are, as you'd imagine, very relaxed, but very considered. They have a certain coastal theme to them. Some would say they feel quite Hamptons. Every room has been designed to meticulous detail to provide the best experience for the guest. so that everything falls to hand and everything is in exactly the right place.
And Harry, how many bedrooms have you got?
We have 20 bedrooms. Most of them have private decks that with seating that opens onto our coastal garden, and for that reason, actually, we feel very, very confident and well suited for the reopening, because people will be able to come and stay with us and feel very comfortable about being in their own space if they so wish. I personally, don't believe that people who want to come and stay with us will be that concerned about that, but at least we have the options to give people the feelings of security and comfort that maybe they're looking for.
Do you do quite a few sort of exclusive corporate sort of takeovers for an offsite?
Yes, Guy, we do a lot. We have some extremely well-known businesses that you will have heard of that take over the property on 24, 48 or even longer. So yeah, I think actually, seeing as you asked, I think that there is going to be a real shift in the way that corporates use hospitality in the future. So I think that one of the things that's going to come out of this situation is, as we are today, more people will be connecting remotely, and there'll be there'll be a realization and a reawakening in business that actually you don't need to go to an office, and you don't need to meet as a group on a day-to-day basis. But I do think meeting people face to face and connecting with people is incredibly important. So I believe that places like the Galavant will be used on a much more frequent basis for businesses who are adopting a more of a remote way of running things, as a venue to bring people together on a regular basis. So I would not be surprised that in the future we look after many, many more corporates who will come to the Galavant maybe on a monthly or a quarterly basis to bring their leadership teams in to reconnect and to just effectively to socialize, to be together. I think that will be for the hospitality businesses that are ready for that, I think that is going to be a really big opportunity for businesses like ourselves.
Absolutely. And I might have missed it just earlier, Harry. What's the journey, if I was leaving by public transport, what is the journey time from central London to?
About an hour and 20 minutes. There's a high-speed train, fortunately, that runs from St Pancras to Ashford, and then a train from Ashford to Rye. So you can literally get from London St Pancras to Rye, I think, in 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then it's a 5 to 10 minute hop on a taxi to the Galavant. By car, it's short of 2 hours, depending on the traffic. I mean, at the moment, it's taking about an hour and a half, but even in normal times, it's about a 2-hour drive.
Fabulous. Well, it looks an absolutely stunning environment, and I'm sure that everyone would love the opportunity to find out more. And I think I've got a few questions coming in. Let me just have a look here. So again, it's just by right on the beach. It's Camper Sands. I mean, some people don't know Camper Sands and I've never been there, for instance.
Okay. Camber's one of those places that when you talk to people about Camber, a lot of people that I meet have got great fond memories of going there as a child.
Right.
It's a unique sandy beach. It's the closest sandy beach to London. You can't see it from the road. And as I said, for 95% of the time, it's completely deserted. And the Galavant, we're very fortunate to be positioned directly behind that. So we're literally a hop and a skip over the dunes to the beach. And I think, as well as the team that work at the Galavant, I think one of our greatest assets is this incredible beach that I believe really connects people to a happier moment in their lives.
Well, I think it looks absolutely wonderful, and I hope to come and give it a visit very, very soon. Thank you very much.
There it is.
Harry, I've got one question. The dining room, can one do a exclusive hire of the dining room?
Not the dining room. I mean, it really depends on the numbers, Clifford. So I shouldn't be saying no. but we're pretty flexible. The cabin room takes 16 very comfortably. The summer house will sit, in one long table, I think 30 to 40 people.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a very flexible group of rooms that we can adapt to, to requirement.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that 95% of all the corporates that come and stay with us take the place over on an exclusive basis. And for the corporates where maybe there are more than 20 guests, we're fortunate that we have great connections with some really beautiful, stunning holiday properties that are all a walk away from the Gallivant, either overlooking the beach or behind the property. So there's a great flexibility to take numbers up to 40 or 60 people.
Lovely.
Great.
Harry, there's one question that comes in.
Yes.
Someone said they've seen a marquee for weddings there. Do you have marquees put up?
So actually, the summer house has been converted from that. So the summer house now is effectively a building that we've created from that, which has now been completely rebuilt inside to provide this very sort of Scandinavian oak and birch and ply lined building.
Right.
And we host weddings, but we host weddings on specific days of the week.
Well, it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm sure you'll have huge demand for weddings. I've been told that there's 135,000 weddings have so far been postponed this year. So we'll be able to move for brides next year, I think.
What I would say is that, you might be able to tell I'm quite an upbeat, quite positive person, but for any hospitality business that are listening in on this, we're still getting bookings and we're getting a lot of inquiries coming in. So I genuinely believe there is an enormous pent up demand out there for people to want to get away and to relax and unwind. And I think there's a tremendously exciting opportunity for hospitality businesses in general, but I do believe it's an opportunity really for businesses to really reimagine themselves, because things will be different. I don't think they're going to be as dramatically different as everyone likes to think that they will be, but that things will be different, and I think the public will have certain cohorts. The public will have a different perspective to what hospitality is all about. So, we view it as a fantastic opportunity. We view the whole move towards staycation as an incredible opportunity. There are going to be whole swathes of the UK population who would ordinarily go overseas, who will not be going overseas. So there is just on its own an incredible opportunity for UK hospitality.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And I personally believe, and I think people heard me say last week, I think we'll be back to a new normal. It will be a new normal, but I think people want to get together.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, everyone.
Cool.
The three
Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for presenting today. I think obviously 3 radically different presentations. I hope it's been interesting. We will be doing another presentation next week, and we'll send out an e-news about what will be on our show then. But in the meantime, enjoy the weather. Have a very, very